Welcome back. Welcome back to the class, everyone. Today we are going to learn about serial peripheral interconnect. Serial peripheral interconnect is a synchronous bidirectional full duplex 4-wire serial interface bus. The concept of SPI was introduced by Motorola. SPI is a single master multi-slave system. It uses separate clock data line along with select lines to choose the device you wish to talk to. The master device is responsible for generating the clock signal. It selects the required slave device by asserting the corresponding slave device slave selects signal to low. The serial peripheral control register holds the various configuration parameters like master slave selection for the device, baud rate selection for communication, clock signal, clock control, etc. The status register holds the status of various conditions for transmission and reception. For example, SD card module, RFID card reader module, and 2.4 GHz wireless transmitter or receiver all use SPI to communicate with microcontrollers. SPI requires 4 signal lines for communication, and they are master out slave in, master in slave out, serial clock, and slave select. Let's discuss about these one by one. Master out slave in. Signal line carrying the data from master to slave device. It is also known as slave input or slave data in. Master in slave out. Signal line carrying the data from slave to master device. It is also known as slave data output. Serial clock. Signal line carrying the clock signal. Slave selects. It's a signal line for slave device select. It's an active low signal. So let's see the working of SPI. SPI works on the principle of shift register. The master and slave device contain a special shift register for the data to transmit or receive. During transmission from the master to slave, the data in the master shift register is shifted out to the MOSI pin and it enters the shift register of the slave device through the MOSI pin of the slave device. At the same time, the shifted out bit from the slave device shift registers the shift register of the master device through MOSO pin. When compared to ITC, SPI bus is most suitable for applications requiring transfer of data in streams. The only limitation is SPI doesn't support an acknowledgement mechanism. So we have studied about SPI. Now let's look into universal asynchronous receiver transmitter, that is UART. UART based data transmission is an asynchronous form of serial data transmission. It doesn't require a clock signal to synchronize the transmitting end and receive end for transmission. It relies upon the predefined agreement between the transmitting device and receiving device. The serial communication settings, that is baud rate, which is nothing but number of bits per byte, parity, number of start bits and stop bits, and flow control for both transmitter and receiver should be set as identical. The start and stop of communication is indicated through inserting special bits in the data stream. Instead of clock signal, the transmitting UART adds start and stop bits to the data packet being transferred. These bits define the beginning and end of the data packet, so the receiving UART knows when to start and stop. When the receiving UART detects a start bit, it starts to read the incoming bits at a specific frequency known as baud rate. Baud rate is a measure of speed of data transfer expressed in bits per second. Both UARTs must operate at about the same baud rate, that is receiving and sending UARTs. The baud rate between the transmitting and receiving UARTs can only differ by about 10% before timing of bits gets too far off. So let's see the working of UART. The transmitting UART receives data from controlling device through the data bus. The UART adds start, parity and stop bits in order to convert it into a data packet. The data packet is then converted from parallel to serial with the help of shift register and is transmitted bit by bit from the TX pin, that is transmission pin. The receiving UART receives the serial data at the RX pin, that is receiving pin, and detects the actual data by identifying the start and stop bits. Parity bit is used to check the integrity of the data. Upon separating the start, parity and stop bits from the data packet, the data is converted into parallel data with the help of shift register. The parallel data is sent to the controller at the receiving end through data bus. You can see the diagram over here. So let's jump to one wire interface. One wire interface is asynchronous half duplex communication protocol developed by Maxim Dallas Semiconductors. It is just like uh, a previous one, UART. One wire is similar in concept of I2C but with lower data rates and longer range. It is typically used to communicate with small inexpensive devices such as digital thermometer and weather instruments. It makes use of only a single signal line called as DQ for communication and follows the master-slave communication model. One of the key features of one wire bus is that it follows power to be sent along the signal wire as well. The one wire interface supports a single master and one or more slave devices on the bus. The sequence of operation for communicating with a one wire slave device is listed below. The master device sends a reset pulse on the one wire bus. The slave device present on the bus responds with presence pulse. The master device sends a ROM command, net address command followed by 64-bit address of the device. This address the slave devices to which it wants to initiate communication. The master device sends a read or write function command to read or write the internal memory or register of the slave device. The master initiates a read or write data from the device or to the device. So let's see a parallel interface. Parallel interface is nothing but the dotted ports which you see in printers, earlier printers and earlier CPUs. The onboard parallel interface is normally used for communicating with peripheral devices which are memory mapped to the host of the system. A parallel interface refers to the multiple channel with each line capable of transmitting several bits of data simultaneously. Before USB ports became common, most personal computers had at least one parallel interface for connecting a printer using a parallel port. In contrast, a serial interface uses a serial port, a single line capable of only transmitting one bit of data at a time. The communication through the parallel bus is controlled by control signal interface between the device and the host. The control signals for communication includes read or write signal and device select signal. The device normally contains a device select line and the device becomes active only when this line is asserted by the host processor. The direction of data transfer can be controlled through the control signal line of read and write. Only the host processor has control over read or write control signal. The width of the parallel interface is determined by the data bus width of the host processor. It can be 4-bit, 8-bit, 16-bit, 32 or 64-bit. Now let's stop here. In the next class we will learn about external communication interface. Thank you.